Hi everyone, my name's Laurie Walsh, and I am so happy to be here today with my friend and a fellow educator. I had time in the education field myself, and so I get to introduce to you a person that I am very honored to be on his team. We're going to talk today with Marv Sather. He's going to tell you why he is running for House District 1 in Montana on behalf of Lincoln County. So what I know about Marv, I've been living here now. I'm a Montana native and I'm from Anaconda, but I've been living in Libby here for 2 years now. My husband, Brian Walsh, is from here, his family, Pat and Keith. And I'm really thrilled to be living here. It's wonderful, God's country. But Marv has been an educator here, and he taught in the Libby schools for 22 years. And we're just so lucky to have somebody that is an intelligent, thoughtful, caring person that was willing to run. And so today we're going to talk to him a little bit about why he decided to do that at this time. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Marv, and I'm going to just start by asking you, what was it that that caused you to think about running here? And as you can see, we're pretty much about 6 feet, almost 6 feet apart. Neither of us have been out at all, so we feel like we're pretty safe, but we're adhering to these rules. So anyway, Marv, why did you decide to run for this House seat?
Well, it kind of goes back to 1960 when JFK became president of the United States. And that famous line, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? I was a sophomore in high school, and that resonated with me. I already knew from grade 8 I wanted to be a teacher. That's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, given his wording of that, that is what I want to do. I want to serve. I want to serve. And I want to help everyone to grow, not just intellectually, but as a person and feeling connected to people. How do you do that? And I quickly learned when I became a teacher that we were trained that you have to come up with a set of rules for kids when you do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned over time that it's really pretty simple. It's three things: respect, responsibility, and work hard. And that's been my whole life. That is what I have believed in. And I'm looking at running for this office. I want to serve again in that way. And the same thing applies. It's hard work to be a representative. And what does a representative mean? People, okay, it's not just a person, it's representative means I need to know you. You need to get to know me. And together we can work and try to solve problems. What are your needs? What are your concerns? And I want to listen to that. And I wish the pandemic wasn't here, because I wanted to walk into every business in Libby and Troy and have precinct get-togethers to talk about things face to face. But it's hard to do right now. But that is why I decided I want to serve my hometown and my state.
So the good thing that I'm hearing here is that you were interested in going out and meeting people face to face, but with the pandemic, it's really kind of hamstrung your campaign here to get out and let people know who you are. The good part too, Marv, is that you know, I didn't realize this until this morning when we're talking just before we got on air here, that you have lived here for almost your entire life. So you're essentially not some outsider. You're a known quantity. These are your homies that you're that you're appealing to, so that you've decided to run. You're a known quantity, and I'm just wondering if you can tell people, because everyone knows that you're running on the Democratic ticket, and I think a lot of people have a preconceived notion about what that is, even though for years and years, like Anaconda, Libby was a union town. How do you see yourself on that continuum as far as being a Democrat? Maybe you can tell people about that.
Well, yeah, I can. It's fun, really. I want to make it, you know, the song Center Field?
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play
Yeah.
today. Center field. That's me. That's me. The heart of a baseball diamond is the catcher, the pitcher, the shortstop, and the second baseman, and the center field. And on all sides, there are extremes, out of bounds.
Mm.
So I just look at politics in that way. I believe in unity. We need to come together. From the beginning of when I said that, yes, I will be your candidate for the Democratic Party, but the word representative means so much to me. This is who you, it's going to be a test for me to take some shots because you're a Democrat? Really? I lean kind of to the right on lots of stuff. So I'm in the middle.
I know you do, yeah.
And I would look at this as a way to make things more civil
Mhm.
and decent.
Mhm. Good. Yeah, I know you to be a very good listener, and I also know you to be not one side or the other on some. I personally know you to be socially conservative on some issues.
Mhm.
So that's really a positive. I think people need to know about you, and I'm glad you brought that up. I think we're going to keep the interview, as we had discussed before, short, just to give people a first look at you. And we're going to do a series of these. But one thing that I wanted to be sure that you had a chance to answer was two more things. First of all, what is a main concern for you in Lincoln County right now? What do you see as an issue that you want to make as part of your platform, a concern as you look around that's different from years ago?
Well, it certainly is. I mean, I worked at the mill. I worked at the mill in the summers and even on vacations. But those kinds of things are gone now. The mill is gone. The vermiculite mine is gone. And so and on top of that, we've gone through the asbestos-related disease and now this pandemic. And it concerns me how we should deal with this. And for me, right now, one of the things that's happening here is if you're going to want to go back to work, this is being considered all over in all the states, all over the country, when are we going to get back to normal? I think normal is a long ways away, but there's testing being done. You would think if you want to go to work, you want to be clean of the disease. And so take the test, you can get a result. And then if you're an employer and you want you yourself as the business person, you would want to take the test. You would want your employees to take the test and then train them to meet with the public. And so that, to me, that's a priority.
Mhm.
And given that, there can be a time when maybe we can get a mill again.
Hmm.
I mean, there's trees here, but there's just what happened with the string of companies. It depleted some, but I see logging trucks going through all the time.
Mm.
And so maybe there's a way that that could happen down the road. And it's the same way with the mine. It looks like the mill, excuse me, the mine, that's probably going to happen. And so that's exciting. I would just hope that local people can be hired and have good wages.
Mhm.
And that's who we are as a state. We have resources. And we're going to have to take advantage of what we do have to give.
Mhm.
That's, when I talked with you, when we started this about me as a teacher, hard work,
Mhm.
hard work. I know how important that is. I can remember my dad being, because we were a union town, when he said, we got a 7.5 cent raise per hour. That was a big deal. I was a kind of a young kid, but I knew fractions. I got to working on the fractions of my head, and that's not that much money, Dad, for a 0.5 cent. But over 40 hours, it all helps. And that's what we need. We need a way for people to have decent wages. It's not just a job, it's a decent job, it's a safe job, and you're being treated well.
Mhm.
And I'd say one more thing about a resource for Libby. And I've been thinking about this a lot. The women in Libby and Troy are awesome. They come up with all sorts of ideas and plans that there's a guy scratching his head. They said, it's like dragging the gut. And all that came from, and it was fun. And can I tell you a story?
Yeah, oh, please, please.
I lost my wife, Lynn, in 2005 to a heart attack in the middle of the night. But she was a year or two before that. Her brothers were teasing her when Martha Stewart had to go to jail. You remember that?
Yeah.
And they were teasing her, and she started to cry. She said, "Do you think if a man would have done that, he would have had to go to jail?" And they kind of shut up a little bit. But we were coming down to a ballot issues, and so we had mail-in ballots in Washington State. I was in Spokane. That's where we lived, and we were looking at the ballot, talking about it, and just saying, "Man, look at all these women running for office." And she says, "And I'm going to vote for every one of them." I don't care what party they are. I'm going to vote. And I said, "Well, okay." So politics is complicated sometimes, but really it comes right down to you use your heart, you use your mind, and think about what would be the right thing to do. That's about all I can say about it.
Wow, that's awesome, Marv. Thank you so much for taking the time today. One of the things I remember when you and I spoke a couple weeks ago was you talked about trying to work on us getting incentives to bring a mill back. And I think that can energize people here in this community because Libby is lumber. And it always has been, and it can be again. You said, I see no reason that we can't have a mill. Like we're seeing those logging trucks that you mentioned going through. Why should they go through? We can have a mill again. So I think people can be energized getting behind you, an honest candidate. Nice to hear for us here in Lincoln County who've come to know that kind of decency in this community. So anyway, I thank you for taking the time today, Marv. And like I told you at the beginning, we're going to have a little more time with him in the future. But this is our first look at your candidate, Marv Sather, for House District 1. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.